Hello and welcome to News Hour on Unity TV. Today is Monday, 22nd of October 2023 and it's equivalent to 17th of February 1445 after Hijrah. The headlines. All workers to benefit from 35,000 Naira provisional wage increase, says Gbajabi Yamila. Federal government denies 50 billion Naira plea bargain with MFLA. U.S. court asks CSU to release Tinubu's academic records to Atiku. And on the foreign scene, 10 migrants died, 25 injured in Mexico truck accident. And in sport, Ehenacho scores as Leicester trash Blackburn to go top of championship. And those were the headlines, and for details and more of the stories, I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. The President Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, has on Sunday said that the 35,000 Naira provisional wage increase President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised to low-grade workers for 6 months will now cut across all workers. Gbajabiamila disclosed these following negative reactions that followed the announcement. Recall that Tinubu had in a live broadcast said for the next 6 months, the average low-grade workers shall receive an additional 25,000 Naira per month. But reacting to the reactions, Gbajabiamila said there was a lot of chatter on Twitter about the issue of low-income workers only falling into the category of the provisional wage increase. He explained that they communicated with the president and he quickly agreed that all categories of workers will be given the wage bill. He noted that there is nothing like low income, median income or high income. The federal government is hopeful of the organized labor suspending its planned indefinite strike, saying the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC of Nigeria will consider the government's offers, including a 35,000 Naira per increase for all Treasury-paid federal workers. This was one of the highlights of the hours-long meeting between the federal government and the labor unions in Abuja, according to a statement by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, on Sunday. Earlier, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his Independence Day speech, announced a 25,000 Naira per bump, which he said will apply to low-grade workers only as a means of cushioning the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy. The virtual meeting was chaired by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, with the Governor of Kwara State and Chairman of the Nigeria's Governors Forum, NGF, Abdul Razak Abdul Rahman, and Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State also in attendance. The Labour delegation was led by NLC President Joe Ajero, Deputy President TUC, Dr. Tommy Etim Okon, NLC General Secretary Emma Ogboaja and TUC General Secretary Nuhu Toro, among others. Others present include the Information Minister, Minister of Defense and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, the Minister of State Labour, Nkiruka Onyejiocha, and the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Atiku Bagodo, among others. The federal government has waived value-added tax VAT on diesel for 6 months. Information and National Orientation Minister Muhammad Idris said this in a statement on Sunday after a meeting between government officials and labor unions over the latter's planned industrial action. He said this is part of the resolutions reached during the meeting with organized labor in Abuja, while one of labor's demands is the cushion the rising cost of transportation via the use of alternative energy source. The minister said the government is committed to fast-tracking the provision of compressed natural gas (CNG) buses to ease public transportation difficulties associated with the removal of PMS subsidy. Apart from these, the government said it is committed to the provision of funds for micro and small-scale enterprises. The statement further added that NLC and TUC will consider the offers by the federal government with a view to suspending the planned strike to allow for further consultations on the implementation of the resolutions. The federal government has denied entering into a 50 billion Naira planned non-prosecution plea bargain with the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Emefiele was reported to have entered into a plea bargain with the government on the condition of surrendering 50 billion Naira to facilitate his early release from the custody of the Department of State Service, DSS. The plea bargain was also said to be aimed at cancelling the trial of the former CBN governor on a series of charges comprising money laundering, breach of the Public Procurement Act, and abuse of office. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, however, said that there was no iota of truth in the plea bargain deal. Fagbemi stated that neither his office nor the presidency have had anything of such nature with Emefiele. The position of the federal government was made public in a statement by the Director of Information in the Federal Ministry of Justice, Mrs. Modupe Ogundoro. A United States court has ordered the Chicago State University CSU to release the academic records of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar by Tuesday. The presiding judge, Nancy Maldonado, dismissed the Tinubu's objection, issuing a 2-day ultimatum to CSU to release the documents to Atiku. Maldonado also upheld the ruling of the United States Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert, who ordered the CSU to release Tinubu's academic records as requested by Atiku. She stressed that Atiku, who contested under the People's Democratic Party (PDP), had the right to have access to the records. According to the judge, CSU must complete all necessary filings regarding the release by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Atiku had approached the U.S. District Court in Northern Illinois to compel the university to release Tinubu's academic records, arguing that it will boost his suit challenging the president's election in the February 25 presidential poll. Boasmen PLC on Sunday announced a reduction of the price of its cement product to 3,500 naira per bag, starting from Monday, October 2, 2023. It said the price reduction was in line with its commitment to spur developments in the building materials and infrastructural sectors. The company announced the price reduction in a statement posted on its X, formerly known as Twitter, page. This development is coming weeks after the company's chairman, Abdul Samad Rabiu, after a meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, promised to review the price of the product. No fewer than 5 people have reportedly died in a fuel tanker explosion along the dilapidated Sapele Benin Road in Delta State. It was gathered that a fuel-laden tanker lost control and spilled its content on the road and sparked fire, with maneuvering the fuel portions of the highway around the O'Hara axis. The State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Bright Tafe on Sunday confirmed the incident in a statement made available to journalists in Warri axis of the state. Tafe said 8 buses, 2 tankers, 5 trailers, 2 cars, and 1 motorcycle were burnt completely as the fire raged uncontrollably during the explosion. And on the foreign scene, at least 10 migrants died and 25 were injured early Sunday when a cargo truck clandestinely carrying them overturned on a highway in the southern Mexican state of Chiapas. Local officials reported the accident took place near the border with Guatemala. The report said it was the second fatal crash in less than a week involving migrants. A source in the prosecutor's office who spoke on grounds of anonymity told AFP the victims were apparently from Cuba and all were women, including 1 minor. The accident occurred on a stretch of highway along the Pacific coast between the towns of Pijijapan and Tonala, where migrants often travel as they attempt to reach the United States. The truck, whose body was partly built of wood, was destroyed, with the migrants' clothes, bags, and backpacks strewn around it. Thousands of migrants from different countries have been traveling across Mexico on buses, trailers, and freight trains in an attempt to reach the United States. And in sport, Leicester thrashed Blackburn 4-1 to return to the top of the champions on Sunday. In the first ever meeting between 2 former Premier League winners in the second tier, the Foxes comfortably made it 8 wins from the league games under Enzo Maresca. Watford gave the visitors an early lead, but they were soon pegged back by Rovers top scorer Sami Smodek. Jamie Vardy continued his return to form by firing home his 4th goal of the season to restore Leicester's lead before halftime, and they wrapped up the points in the final 10 minutes through Kelechi Iheanacho's penalty and Keman Dioberi's Hull's clever finish. A 4th defeat in 5 games drops Blackburn down to 18th. And with the sport news, we've come to the end of our bulletin for today. You can follow us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TUNTBE Radio FM TV, respectively. You can also watch us live on the satellite decoder Badarsat, which is being watched in about 38 countries of the world free. You can also stream and watch us live on our YouTube channel at Unity FM TV. I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs. Do have yourself a lovely day.